guys, welcome back to my channel. It's me again, Kazzy, and in today's video I'm going to be doing one of my favourite videos to film and to watch, and that is UK book covers versus US book covers. As I said, these are one of my favourite things to film. I've actually only done one and it was about a year and a half ago, so it's about time that I did another one. It's one of my favourite videos to watch. Not a lot of people do these types of videos, but I love watching them. I love seeing what other people's opinions are on book covers, and sometimes, you know, I'm like thinking, oh, they're going to go with this book cover, and then they don't. It's just fascinating to see what opinions people have about book covers and book design and things like that. I have about close to a dozen books here that I want to talk about the design of. Some of them I own, some of them I don't, so let's just get into it. So the first one that I'm going to talk about is the one that is in the thumbnail, and that is Vengeful by V.E. Schwab. I actually own both editions because I just love them both. This is the UK hardback edition and this is the US hardback edition, and they are just both stunning. I love both of them. I love this one because it is the black and white, and I love the red font on it, but if you look closer and just like turn it sideways, you can see daggers all over it, and I love the way that Marcella takes front and center in this one. And I just love this one as well because it has red and it's black and it has this V shape in the middle, and of course Marcella is there as well with guns, and it is the exact same as this, except this one has a bit more detail than this one, and she has like silver guns in this one. They're just both stunning editions and both stunning designs. I appreciate a lot of work that goes into every single book design that I see. Some of them I love more than others, obviously. I just love both of these so much. If I were to choose, I think I would go for the US one more because of the way that it's so vivid, and the color choices in this one, the fact that it's black and red, it just seems more vengeful than this one. I still love them both though. Next is Nevernight by J. Kristoff. This is the UK edition, and then this is the US one. I am torn between this because I love them both equally as well, but I will say that I'm edging more towards the US one because it looks more vivid. I love the illustration on the front of Mia, and I love the way that it's all dark and spooky, and it just is more of my type of book cover. Whereas this one, I haven't read it yet, so I'm not sure who this character is, but I've also seen this type of style on a different book cover. I can't remember who the author is, but it's another science fiction fantasy writer, and except it's blue or yellow in the other cover. It's obviously by the same designer or by the same person that's gotten like some inspiration, but the other one just looks like the book cover of God's Grave, which is the sequel to this one. So I'm not so attached to this design as I am the US one, purely because it just looks like it's been replicated by somebody else further down the line. Whether it was influenced by this one or whether this one was influenced by that, I don't know. But if I had to choose, it would be the US one because that one would get my attention faster than this one. Next is Daisy Jones and the Six by Taylor Jenkins Reid. This is the UK edition, and then this is the US edition. Hands down, UK edition. This is so colourful, it is so gorgeous. I love the font, I love the way that it has like pretty much all the primary colours blending together, and then the end pages are basically concert tickets. I love this edition so much. The US one reminds me of a Florence and the Machine kind of CD cover. I still adore it. I still might eventually get that edition as well to go with this. I do love getting multiple editions of my favourite books, in case you didn't know. I still adore the aesthetic of it. It still looks gorgeous. I love the model that they used for Daisy. I love the way that it has like the more of the vintagey vibe going on in the US cover. It actually does look like a CD cover from the 60s, and then as I said, it looks like Florence and the Machine, who does just look like an ethereal 60s queen. But as I said, it is hands down the UK cover. Just look at it, just look at it. Keeping with the Taylor Jenkins Reid theme, I am talking about The Seven Husbands of Evelyn Hugo. I do not own this book, but I will eventually. I have read it, I listened to the audiobook of it, loved it. This is the UK edition, and then this is the US one, hands down the US one. I do love the aesthetic of the UK edition, but it seems more formal. It seems more, you know, like a formal portrait. Anytime I look at it, I think of Anastasia, the 20th Century Fox animated movie. And I always think of when Anastasia is in the black navy dress at the opera and she's standing at the top of the stairs and Dimitri is like, wow. I always think of that. But the US edition just looks like Evelyn Hugo. It just looks like she's this sex pot, which she was. The dress looks gorgeous. She's in this lounging position and it just looks like she's calling you to her and calling you to see why she had 7 husbands. Whereas the other one looks more formal and more staid and more like stay away. So definitely the US edition wins this round. Next is The Lost Girls of Paris by Pam Janoff. This is the US edition and then this is the UK edition. Fun fact, this is the book that actually inspired me to do this video again because I saw this book in Waterstones, which I had never seen it before, but I was just wandering around and then it was sitting out face out and I was like, oh, that must be the UK one. Obviously I have the US one because I actually bought this in Barnes & Noble when I was in New York in February. And this is exactly what made me buy it. This cover. This gorgeous, gorgeous cover. I love the aesthetic of it. You have planes in the background. You have this clock tower. You have this woman standing here that reminds me of Peggy Carter for whatever reason. The font is gorgeous and it has deckled edges. The UK one, not as enticing, I gotta say. This one is definitely more intriguing, whereas this one, it just looks too bright and bubbly. It just does not scream World War II to me. It looks kind of like World War II-ish, but it looks too happy, whereas if you know what this story is about, it's not this bright. It's not this optimistic in the cover, whereas this one, it actually looks like she's looking for somebody, that they're lost. This one just is perfect. It's a gorgeous, gorgeous cover. This cover is ultimately why I picked it up. Like, granted, obviously I did read in here, but if I saw the UK one, I would just walk past. I would have thought it was like a Mills and Boon book. I just thought it would be something like, you know, cute and twee and just like, just a nice little summer read, whereas this one looks so much more intriguing and so much more right up my alley. Next is Wolf by Ryan Groudon. This is the UK edition and then this is the US one. There isn't much of a difference between the two except for the background color, really. I would definitely lean towards the UK edition because of the red background. It looks more bloody, it looks more gritty, and it just looks like it's going to be one heck of a wild ride. Considering that this book is basically what if the Nazis won World War II. But I definitely am leaning more towards this one, whereas the other one, it just doesn't look as gory or as gritty or as dark. Definitely leaning more towards this one because of the color aesthetic. Next is Skyward by Brandon Sanderson. This is the UK edition and then this is the US one. Hands down, UK. Don't get me wrong, I do like things about the US one. It's just that it makes this book look so YA. Yes, it is a YA book, but this one makes it look so much more exciting because we have the character here and we have this debris field that they talk about in the book. A ship going upwards. We have this gorgeous frame here. The font is golden and sparkly and shiny and I love it. And then we have Spencer here looking up at, I presume this is like reenacting like her father's cowardice moment or whatever, or her dreaming of reaching the stars, whereas this one, it just shows like a kind of emo-ish kind of girl and it just doesn't look as enticing. It just has Skyward written on it and then it has the face and the purple background. I'm not sure what happens in the purple background because I haven't looked at it that closely, but if anybody was to put both of these in front of me and tell me which one is more enticing, definitely this one. This is ultimately why I bought it. I was definitely intrigued by the storyline before I saw the cover of it. The only cover that I ever saw was the US one because most US booktubers were using that one. Then I saw this one out on Amazon. I was like, I'm getting you. I also have My Lady Jane by the Lady Janies, Cynthia Hand, Brodie Ashton and Jodie Meadows. This is the US edition and then this is the UK one. Seriously, UK? That's what you went with? I got this one off of eBay because I wanted this cover. I needed this cover. There was no doubt about it. It had to be this one. It just looks so nice. You have like the female character, you have My Lady Jane, a nice big font. It has like that pink color aesthetic, whereas this one just makes it look like a child's read. I haven't read it yet, but I'm guessing it's not a child's read. It looks much more intriguing. It would be much more intriguing, you know, like if you were on, you know, your commute or something and you were reading this, it looks more intriguing than reading this. It does not do anything for me, so hands down, this one. Next is Artemis by Andy Weir. I do own this one, but I am not 100% certain where it is. This is the UK edition that I own, and then this is the US one. I am not sure which one that I would go for in this round. I like both aspects of them. I love the way that the US cover just has the moon, the silhouette of the moon. I really like that. Whereas the UK one has the astronaut in it, and it seems that it's more pressing that an astronaut is part of it. US one just seems like it's on the moon. UK one, astronaut, that we're actually following somebody. So I'm not 100% certain which one I would go for, to be honest. The US one aesthetically pleasing, UK one dramatic, colorful. I think I would go for the UK one in terms of design, whereas if both of them were put in front of me, I might lean towards the US one purely because of its simplicity. Definitely more my design choices, but I do love the dramaticness of the UK one. I don't know, I'm kind of like split down the middle with this one. And the last book that I have to talk to you guys about is one that I don't own, just like with Evelyn Hugo, and that is The Thousandth Floor by Catherine McGee. I always assumed that the US edition, this one right here, was the only one that it had because I hadn't seen it anywhere else here in the UK and Ireland. But then this is actually the UK edition, which I've seen on Amazon. Hands down, the US, because this is more of a science fiction book where in the future they all live in the same building. Your status in society marks whatever floor that you live on. The lower you are in society, the lower floor you are. The higher up in society you are, obviously the higher floor that you are. So this one looks so much more fantastical. I love the font that is all over it, whereas the UK edition makes it look like a romance. I'm assuming it's not a romance because it is set in the future, and the way they talk about it, the way Haley and Bookland talks about it, it's like a science fiction. It's set in the future, so sci-fi. Definitely the US for this one. Hands down. From every design aspect, this gorgeousness right here. The US one. So there you have it, guys. Those are all of the books that I wanted to talk about in the UK versus US book covers. I didn't keep track of how many won in each category, whether it was like the US one or UK one. I don't know, I didn't really keep track. But thank you guys so much for watching. Let me know what your opinions are on these book covers. Did you prefer more US ones or UK ones? Let me know in the comments down below. Thank you guys so much for watching. Subscribe if you haven't already, and I will see you in my next video. Bye!